One Piece is one of the longest running mangas of all time and is known today as one of the big three. Due to its great length, many people prefer not to watch it and choose to watch smaller animes instead. This leads to many misunderstandings. The biggest of these misunderstandings is that many people believe when they start watching One Piece that it is an anime that will immediately hit them with all its themes and narratives straight away. The issue with this is it's just not like that at all. Will it become like that over time? Yes, but it will take many chapters of build up and theme making for this to happen. This is also made worse because many fans will try to make new beginners watch it by saying, oh, just watch till like Annie's Lobbies at least. The issue with this is that it makes new fans think it won't get good until Annie's Lobby, thus creating the infamous One Piece gets good at episode 300, 500, whatever meme. The reason I dislike this is that trying to sell to someone that they should reach the best points before they can even experience the parts before it that made these arcs good is effectively the same as telling someone that they should watch the MCU even if they hate it, because once they get to the end game, it's good. This just isn't a good way to make someone watch something. Two, in relation to the previous misunderstanding, another big one is the fact that many people who are either not willing to watch or read it, or people who just hate it, will usually state that it's too long and that it should be shorter. When it comes to the anime specifically, you can argue this for the post time skip era far more easily, as Toei does tend to stretch out episodes to the point that they only adapt one chapter or less per episode. So, yes, sometimes the anime has poor pacing and it should be shorter. However, this just isn't really the case with the manga. One Piece is a story that requires long term storytelling due to its complex world and characters and all sorts of themes. The mystery of the One Piece itself also requires a lot of build up. I've seen many people claim that if the author is so good, why can't he just tell the story in fewer chapters? The issue with this statement is that it ignores two fundamental things. One, One Piece is not intended to be a fast paced story. Two, Oda loves the story more than most fans. Sometimes he'll love it so much he just adds more and more things that expand the world and make it even better. This is not inherently a bad thing, and it does not mean he's just stretching the story for the point of it. Otherwise, you might as well claim the warlord system is pointless and that it should have never been added, despite how much they add to the story, because originally the warlords weren't meant to be in the story. Misconception 3 is that people think, for some reason, Shanks is weak. This misconception may be a little annoying for some of you to hear, especially due to the stigma around power scaling in the One Piece community. However, despite how much you dislike it, you can't claim it isn't integral to understanding One Piece. Shanks is usually someone who will be downplayed for various reasons. The most common one is the fact that he lost his arm to the Sea King. Due to this, many fans, or even up-to-date fans, presume that this means Shanks is even weaker than start of series Luffy, which just doesn't make sense given further context we've been given. Warning, this next part contains spoilers for One Piece for newer viewers. As we learn later on, Shanks by this point will already be at least as strong as any Yonko's top tier commanders, and this is proven more by the fact that Mihawk considered Shanks his rival. We also see that Shanks is quite clearly capable of using his Conqueror's Haku at this point in the story, as he uses one to scare the Sea King away. Another argument people use is that Shanks rarely appears and he has no feats, meaning he isn't as strong as those with feats. It's just flat out ignoring because Shanks appearing at Marineford and shredding up, blocking an angry Akainu isn't considered a feat for some reason. Shanks having enough power to beat Kid is also not a feat, apparently. This argument is only used by those who try to blind themselves to the truth. The truth is Shanks is not weaker than the start of time skip Luffy, or even the start of series Luffy. It's just ridiculous. The fourth misconception is just one that's common for long anime in general, and that's just Luffy has no character development. Main characters get no development. So this isn't really a misconception, and I don't usually see it as often, but it is a misconception sometimes spread from haters and trolls. However, sometimes I have noticed that lately some people do genuinely think this is the case, whether it be because of the haters or just their own misunderstanding of how the story plays out. The issue with this is people don't understand what character development actually means by definition. The definition of it is as follows. Character development refers to the process of creating a believable character in fiction by giving the character depth, personality, and background. Now let's break this down into parts. Does Luffy have character depth? The answer is yes, as we not see just one, but two flashbacks for him. In those flashbacks, we see his motivations, his past, his connections, his history, how he was changed from when he was a child. This is all parts of important character development. Does he have a personality? This one is pretty obvious to any One Piece fan. He's, pretty like energy filled and he's pretty joyful. I guess you could even call him a joy boy. The other part of character development that people like to bring up is, does this character change throughout the main timeline of the story? And the answer is also yes for this. For example, we first see Luffy after Shanks' introduction chapter. We see that as a 17-year-old, he is now far smarter than he was as a kid, just in general. But he still maintains the same nature, but he's just a lot, more mature. Like, he can be mature in the right moment. He's also a far better fighter. Like, he thinks things through clearly. He also learnt a lot from Shanks, as we see later in Jaya. By the end of East Blue, we learn that Luffy actually has great emotional intellect as well. This is further shown during arcs like Alabasta. We see Luffy develop when he went through Marineford, and we can clearly see Luffy deal with the aftermath of the Whitebeard's war against the Marines. He comes out as a stronger person and a better captain, as you'll see after the time skip. Due to Marineford, we can see that he takes more responsibility as a captain and is far more aware of when and when not to fight someone, especially after Sabaody. We see this more during the end of Whole Cake Island when the Straw Hats run away from the Big Mom pirates after Luffy defeated Katakuri, when before the time skip, this might not have happened. So, what do you think? Do you think Luffy has character development? Do you guys believe Shanks is or isn't strong? And that the misconception of the series only getting good hundreds of episodes in is made by misinformation being spread?